Shalom, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Oshai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Oshai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Oshai. Let's give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Oshai, to honors the apostles, elders, bishops, great millstone, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect across the planet Earth, pushing this truth in the spirit and sincerity and truth. Yeah, I just want to do a video on, the return of Yahweh Shai, and how there's a big misconception on who the Lord is and how He's returning. The Lord isn't coming to save everyone. The Lord's coming, with fire. The Lord said He's coming to bring a sword on the planet Earth, man. So, it's going to be a dark day for 2/3 of our people and these other nations, and it's going to be a fright. Only the elect is really going to understand, what they're seeing through these prophecies. The skies are going to be filled with innumerable amount of angels, innumerable amount of angels, man. Thousands of thousands of chariots are going to cover the skies, along with Yahweh Shai in his chariot. The day of the Lord, He's coming back for vengeance, which is, in His heart. The first time around, He came to be a light to the Gentiles. I'll do a video on that. But He came humble. He made Himself of no reputation the first time He came around. The first time He was on the planet, as Yahweh Shai. He came in lowly and humble, on a donkey, to teach the Gentiles, which are the Israelite foreigners, or the Israelites, that were in that foreign state of mind, and didn't know that they were Israelites. The first scripture, Isaiah 63:3. I've trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. And I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury. And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. Yeah, this is metaphorically speaking. He's going to be in that chariot, but it's also a representation of all the killing that the Lord is going to do when He returns. When He's in those chariots, man, He's going to be blasting fire, as well as destroying these different armies, in those chariots. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. The day of vengeance is in His heart, man. Ever since He went up to be with the Father 2,000 years ago, sat on the right-hand side of the Most High Yahweh. He's had that vengeance, on Him to get that revenge, for what they did to Him down here, as well as the ones that pierced Him. I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation upon me, and my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and I'll make them drunk in my fury. I'll bring down their strength to the earth. Hey, look, there's none of this, But He said He will tread down the people in mine anger and make them drunk with my fury. So yeah, the Lord's coming with vengeance, which is, different from what, the Christian church teaches. He's coming back to save everybody, to rapture up, a few of all the nations, that accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord, personal Savior. The Lord said He chooses you. You don't choose the Lord. This is Amos 5:18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. For what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Part of that darkness, is the chariots coming back, to blast fire. Our people on the Lord are trampling down, trodden down the winepress alone, him and them angels, you know, for and of the people, there was none with him. There was just him. It's just going to be him and those angels up there, man. For I will tread them down in mine anger. Yes, that's part of that darkness that's coming, man. The day of the Lord, the day of Yahweh Shai. You know, the main thing to top it off, the day of the Lord is going to be those missiles, that nuclear destruction. That's the day of the Lord, man. That's going to destroy the entire land of America. You know, from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. It says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord." You know, yeah. What is and is it for you? You know, if you're not part of that elect 144,000, 1/3. You know, ones that's slated for deliverance. You know, you're going to be destroyed in that. You'll be part of that 7,000 men that are slain. On this place, man. The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Part of that darkness is the Lord's vengeance when He comes, man. Right here it says Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with His chariots like a whirlwind, to render His anger and fury and rebuke with flames of fire. So that's the Lord blasting on the people, man. The angels doing blasting on the people before that ultimate destruction. So yeah, Scripture's talking about men's hearts failing them for fear. Just from seeing that big fathership, that big ship, Yahushua is coming back in, man. Mighty men are gonna cry there bitterly, man, seeing that. There was a movie called War of the Worlds, the original one, even the remake, where it shows those ships, blasting laser beams on the people, treading them down in their anger, blasting them to powder, literally. It showed them blasting these people to powder, vaporizing them instantly, once that laser hit them in that movie. And there's a new movie coming out this summer called Disclosure Day by the same guy, Steven Spielberg. So that's going to be an interesting one, man. I got to make sure I get my ticket to see that one, Lord willing. We're back in Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and His chariots like a whirlwind, man. So His chariots, part of the darkness of the day of the Lord, man, to render His anger with fury and rebuke, and His rebuke, with flames of fire. So that's that vengeance, that we read about, that the Lord is going to come in with, man. This is for the day of vengeance. It's on His mind, man. Is in my heart and His mind, man. He's thinking about it. And when He gets that opportunity to do, He's gonna tread down the people in His anger, as it is written. For by fire and by His sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Yeah, man, the slain of the Lord is gonna be many, man. Yeah, that's that sword the Lord's coming to bring, man. The day of the Lord is darkness, not light, man. Yes, Revelation 1:7. Behold, He cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see Him. Because the chariots in the sky, man, ultimately that big chariot, that massive one that Ezra saw, covered the whole sky. Right? He says, He come with clouds, and every eye shall see Him, and they also which pierced Him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of Him, man. It's the day of the Lord right there, man. The day of the Lord is darkness and not light, man. But yeah, and they which pierced Him. So that also goes into that vengeance, that payback. The Lord's coming to get those Roman centurions, those Roman soldiers who are back here today in the reincarnation. And He's coming to get them, man, personally. It's all part of that vengeance. The Lord said that it's on His mind right now. Vengeance that He's had since he left, and He's coming back in like manner. He left in a chariot, He was lifted up into heaven, and He's going to return in like manner, so He's coming back in a chariot. He said, behold, He cometh with clouds, and that's clouds represent chariots, man, in the scriptures, man. in some scriptures. The chariot is also known as a star in the book of Matthew, pillar of fire, clouds, chariots, the chariots of Israel, man. What he so calls UFOs, man. The Lord is coming with those chariots, man. He says he cometh with clouds. Every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, man. But for the elect, it's going to be, that salvation. This is 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Yahushua shall rise first. The ones that died in this truth, man. The ones that died in the knowledge, the ones that died in the truth, Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. That's that deliverance. That's that salvation. Beamed up in those chariots to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord, or for comfort one another with these words. So then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, with them, in the clouds, and the chariots, the ones that passed on. The spirit world, they're going to be on ships, man, already with Yahushua, to meet the Lord in the air. Yep. And so shall we ever be with the Lord, man. That's that salvation, man. The deliverance right before them nuclear missiles touched down. So yeah, when the Lord first came around, when he was on the scene 2,000 years ago, he came to be that light unto Israel, the light unto the Gentiles. He came as made himself no reputation, to teach and to wake up the people. Now he's coming back, for vengeance. A dual role, man, just like the chariots. Chariots are coming to destroy, and they're also coming to save as well, man. But with that, shalom.